Hello, everybody. We are back. I'm here together with Geoffrey. Hey, man. Nice to see you again.
Hey.
We got our hands on a Cornerstone footage. They recorded all the rounds at the Utden Troll 2025. It's our good friends, Trolls of the Realm in the Netherlands. And so we have 5 rounds of Swiss for you and then a top cut. So we actually have 8 games to share with you, and we love casting, love it. And so this is what we will be doing. Geoffrey, so last series we did a Crossroads, now it is a Cornerstone. Perhaps quickly, what is the difference?
Yeah, so where the Crossroads would be your regional championships, the Cornerstones are essentially one level down. They're the equivalent of your store championship. So they're meant to grab the people that are locals to a certain LGS. I think in that case, they managed to grab people from different countries just because, Trolls of the Realms are known to make great events, so people tend to travel for them. But generally, you should expect more of a casual LGS friendly vibe, and probably smaller size as well. So concretely, what does that mean? You might see maybe more off-meta decks, or people might be more willing to bring their pet decks to some events.
Honestly, I played a lot of Cornerstones, Cornerstones in Belgium. I think I did 4, and it's really great that sometimes you just have great ideas. I mean, Sorcery, yes, there are some dominant decks, but I mean, if you have a good roll, if you have a great deck, these are actually the place where you can test them out. And we actually see it directly in round number 1. We have Lars playing a Seer. I've never seen a Seer in action against Adrian, and he is playing a Waveshaper. So that's an interesting matchup that I've never seen. So really looking forward to these decks. And let's just jump right into it. So here we have a Seer, I would guess, control deck. What are your thoughts on this list, Geoffrey?
Yeah, so it might not look like it, but it's essentially a mono water deck. There are a handful of cards that are not water, but I think they're all beasts. So I think the idea is you can still play them through your playset of pawns. Generally, when you have a mono water deck, you're going to look at something that's mid-range to control, just because water doesn't really do aggression really well. You have really powerful creatures, but you need to get to the mid to late game in order to outvalue your opponent with just better cards in general. Seer benefits from the scry at the beginning of the turn, so sometimes you get very explosive starts because you might be able to assemble a combo like playing a mix aqua early and then cheating out a big guy like a Hydra or a Green Knight or, God forbids, a great old one. Can get you some easy wins sometimes, but just the regular game plan of playing your big creatures is often enough.
I was
Good to
profoundly
do the work.
confused seeing the Manticore like completely off color with pond, but of course that is the power of Seer. Like if you don't have the pond, you just put it at the bottom, no issue whatsoever. If you're able to cast it, then props to you. And I also saw I was also a bit befuddled by 7 League Boots. But then we saw our good friend, where is he? The Megamuba? Is that the dream?
It is. It
Okay.
is.
Then we have Waveshaper on the other side. Different kind of
Yep.
control.
Well, you're going to see a lot of overlap between the two lists because they're both mono water, and obviously you want to play the best water cards that you can. So I expect to see a lot of similar cards between the two decks, and that might come into play. I think Waveshaper has built in more control just through its ability, but maybe will lack the potential explosiveness that the Seer can provide by assembling specific pieces of combo together. So yeah, it's truly going to depend whether the Seer can get off to some busted stuff through its ability. Otherwise, I would maybe favor the Waveshaper to calm things down in the mid game.
Of course, the one thing you really want to see with Waveshaper is your opponent playing water. That is such a huge advantage if you're playing with 4 pirate ships, and I see 3 enemy Undines. Also, this version runs 4 muses primarily to cast polymorph into a huge thing. So really, really looking forward to this matchup. So let's just jump right into it. We have them all ready for you. So on top we have Adrian with Waveshaper. On the bottom we have Lars with his Seer. Geoffrey, first question always like, is there a preferred? Is there somebody has the advantage here?
I would, unless Seer gets to do something really powerful by turn 3 or 4 through like a Mix Aqua or Four Waters of Paradise, I would probably favor the Waveshaper just because it has an ability that I think is more powerful, especially in this mono water mirror match where everything is going to be a body of water. But truly depends on how the Seer starts the game here.
Perhaps before we jump into the gameplay and the game, what are those two big guys on the battlefield, and especially those huge noses?
Yeah, so this is a special artwork created by Drew Tucker, commissioned specifically for the Trolls of the Realm. So I actually didn't know what it was, and I saw the artwork at Sorcery Fest, etc. And then it only hit me when I arrived in Leeuwarden, Netherlands, where the event is. There's this art piece at the entry of the town, or at least where the train station is, called Love Fountain that has like a head of a boy and a girl together, and so it's a very famous way of depicting Leeuwarden, and I think Drew decided to make its own version, obviously with troll heads.
Honestly, I think it's great, but if we perhaps jump back to what is happening, I think we saw a Mix Aqua and then cheating in a questing beast on turn 2.
Yeah, things really took a turn here. We started nice and easy with a river on both sides, and then suddenly Mix Aqua Pond means we have 4 discount total for that questing beast, which is perfect. And questing beast on turn 2 is a scary sight to behold.
Yeah, honestly, there is a pond, so actually he could perhaps have gone one up with a massive store worm. That would have been probably a little bit more scarier. But we see Adrian here defending with not placing his sight on 8. Like, I want to move towards you, but let's take it one step extra. Otherwise, there is a lot of damage incoming.
Yeah, definitely not the kind of placement you would expect, but you have to adapt to the situation, right? You don't want the questing beast to attack too early. By doing that, you can maybe save yourself a turn of questing beast attack, which is 5 damage. That's a ton.
And we saw here Lars contemplating, like, do I want to place that sight on 12 or do I actually want to go to 8, where you're really up close and personal? And I think that was a Plague of Frogs.
That seems correct. They are here. Yeah, interesting to see where they're gonna go. So worth noting that Plague of Frogs the frogs from Plague of Frogs can be summoned on your opponent's side. Sometimes it's advantageous, sometimes it's a bit risky. Here we take a very conservative approach to the deployment. They're all submerged and all on the Seer side of the playmat.
Yeah, and I was also looking at his deck list, looking for snowballs, because yeah, if you place 7 frogs in one line underwater and suddenly they all jump up and they get into a snowball, that is a lot of damage. That's 8 damage to your opponent, but he's not running it in his list.
Yeah, and we have both avatars with an artifact on them. The Waveshaper has a manuscript, so manuscript usually a great card to combine with Plague of Frogs, but in that case they're on opposite side of the battlefield. But that could come up later, with the frogs or with a turtle, get a bit more card draw. And then the Seer has an Amulet of Ninian, which I don't know if it does a ton in this mirror match, but if you have it in hand, you might as well play it. Water doesn't typically have tons of direct damage through magic spells, but could come up in a pinch. An Ice Lance, maybe.
Well, I see that Adrian is running Snowball, and that is magic, so does
Yep,
that one protect him?
I do believe so, yeah.
And I think he also has 2 ice lances, so that would also protect it. So it does a little bit, but perhaps you just want to draw out the dispel.
Ooh. And I was going to say, um, we're opting not to tap the questing beast because we need to continue developing our mana if we're the Waveshaper and Adrian here. And he can actually do both this turn because he gets to play a helpful hob, which means he gets to untap his avatar. So the first tapping is for playing the floodplain, and then the second one, I believe he's used his ability on location 8, meaning that the questing beast is going to stay tapped.
Yeah. Which is a bit, yeah, I was wondering because he probably wants to go to 8 threshold. Also, good placement of the floodplain next to the wizard's den, just to make it so that it will also provide threshold for the island Leviathan. But yeah, having a questing beast unchecked, dealing 5 a turn, that is a lot of damage, of course.
Yeah, and it's a tension with Waveshaper. Water has great late game cards, right? So you want to go to 6, 7, 8 mana. Waveshaper, if you want to make use of its ability, you're going to need to sacrifice playing sites or even drawing sites because your ability requires tapping. So it's a bit of a built-in tension in the deck and one that's not always easy to navigate. I think generally you try to read the board and say, hey, can I afford not to tap here? And I think the answer for the questing beast was no, we need to save the damage until we have a plan for that.
Of course, if you have like a great old one in the deck, Leviathans that need that 8 mana and threshold. If you have Votten Draconis of 7, that is still the high end, but like if you have Green Knight, 2 Hydras, 2 Mrs. 2 Worms, then you really always want to go to 6 mana in your water deck, unless you're really dying. But here we see a great card, and the Pirate Ship, that is such a good and cheap minion. Especially
Yeah, so
if
we
your opponent is playing water.
decided to not tap the questing beast again, realizing we need to make progress on our mana. And the Polar Explorers have done their thing and went from top row to bottom row. And I believe that was an attack defended by the frog that was submerged.
Yeah, I believe so too. So I think as it stands, there is still no damage done.
Correct. So there's been a mesmerism cast here, but I
Ooh,
believe it took control of the pirate ship. But this needs to be nearby the spellcaster, so... And we're not a druid, we don't have a free tawny flying around to spellcast for us. Let's
okay,
see.
because
Yeah.
that is a big swing. That would mean
Yeah.
10 damage.
I believe the helpful hub defended one of the 2 attacks.
Yeah, correct.
So
So it would be
that would have been
15.
15.
Oh, but
But it looks
they,
like the players might have caught that themselves and re-rolled a little bit.
okay, so we just went back in time. And
Yes,
I'm
we're
very happy
skipped.
that they caught it, because that would be a very big impact on the board state. And
Yeah, that
also
was a huge swing.
for Adrian, also, like, he now knows that there is a mesmerism in Lars's hands, and that is a very important piece of information. Although it could also cripple you, like if you keep on thinking, okay, he will steal this minion and this minion, it can also backfire.
Yeah, but definitely good to know that there's such a powerful card in the Seer's hand. The alternate play, given that the mesmerism can't be cast like we want, is to play Pawn and then play Abundance. So really unlocking tons of mana for the next turn if the Abundance gets to stick around. And we have moved, I think, 1 frog back. Still submerged to 18. So a bit of standstill here. Both players having, powerful cards on board, but no one willing to blink, so to say. Let's see who's gonna press the trigger first.
I was thinking, like, if I now own my pirate ship, I would attack, because if the questing beast trades, fine by me. Otherwise, you're just starting to eat some frogs, I guess. But then I was thinking, like,
Yeah,
the
but it's gonna
questing
take
beast,
forever.
the questing beast can charge in, and then they can step aside, so they can actually evade the pirate ship if you try to attack. But I guess they can do that anyway.
The frogs really mean that I don't think Adrian can be the aggressor here, because there's tons of blockers for the Seer. We're going to attempt to attack for 2, and I think this one will go through, because I think the frog that is submerged is tapped, and so not available as a blocker.
Yep, first blood. Oh.
And what else? What else is happening? We've played a site. So again, we've accepted that we're now using our ability. I think that's a pass. I wonder what's in Adrian's hand here.
Well, he just casted the eel.
Oh, that's right. I missed that. Good point. Still a pretty weak turn, all things considered, because it's a pretty low mana creature.
Yeah.
And we had tons of mana. Speaking of tons of mana, the Seer is going to untap with 9 total. And I think 3 of these are going to be used for the Tufted Turtle, providing some defenses against the Polar Explorers. Okay, Questing Beast is going to get in.
Yep.
I believe that's an attack. Since Stealth was broken. What can we do with all that mana?
Yeah, normally the eel is a combo with the Marine's Curse. So basically, Marine's Curse says whenever minions enters, it will submerge it. So the eel is actually a minion that likes to be submerged, because if it submerges, it can drag something with him. So if for instance, the Questing Beast would be on 8, you could actually cast the Marine's Curse on it and then walk into the eel, and the eel will drag it under, and the curse will go back to hand to redo it if you want to. But funnily enough, I don't see it in Adrian's deck. Or perhaps there was an updated version, because that seems a bit off.
We have seen the swap being played, bringing the Polar Explorers back to the Island Leviathan and sending the Questing Beast all the way back to the home site for this year. So I think we're trying to find a line to attack if we're Adrian here. Now the frogs did their job and actually blocked, I think, all of that damage. There was 3 frogs and 3 attackers and none were left. But we've decided that we were going to press the trigger.
Yeah, that is and I guess mesmerism incoming.
Yeah, I think there's no way around that. We have the swap allowed to put 2 minions on the same location, which means that Adrian was able to then use its Waveshaper ability to tap the whole site. So we have managed to lock down the Questing Beast and the Tufted Turtle together. So even if a mesmerism were to be cast, it's still not the end of the world on board, because 2 minions are locked. So really it would be a 2 minion versus 1 minion situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like we're considering other lines if we're Lars here.
And also again, like the Plague of Frogs, if you're like in the beginning wondering what does it do, if you now look at it, it soaked up the damage of a pirate ship, an eel, a Polar Explorer this turn. That's already 9, and I think 2 times also a Polar Explorer, so that's already 13 damage prevented for basically 5 tokens. Yeah, the card is so good, although a defensive card. And as of course you play with fire, with Boudica or Ruler of Tool, there's extra shenanigans.
So I think we decided against the mesmerism in the end, opting to cast a Green Knight instead. So there's going to be a bunch of triggers as soon as Adrian draws his card. Questing Beast also still gets to take a step with its ability, so the locking down is not gonna happen for too long because it gets to escape it. And so the triggers happen. Everyone needs to attack the Green Knight. I don't know how the order was done. I would have expected a 1 minion to survive here.
Yeah, there was a small mistake. So he decided to attack in with the pirate ship. But of course, the pirate ship survives because the Green Knight is a 3/7, so it did only 3 damage. And then the eel, the second minion, would have killed it off. And then the Green Knight says, strike target nearby enemy. But I guess he was going then to strike the pirate ship to kill it off. So that means that or the eel or the Polar Express actually should have survived. But I think he was so used to it, like, hey, the pirate ship will die, that he just already put it in the bin, unfortunately. So,
I mean, there is a world where they got to the right resolution if they ordered the attacks really, really wrong. Like if they said, attack with explorers first, attack with eel second, attack with pirate ship last, and then the strike on the pirate ship gets to finish it. But that would be a misplay, I think. Right.
yeah, and he really first took the pirate ship to point it, so
Right.
it would
Okay.
be
Yeah.
strange. But hey, these things happen. But now we see Questing Beast on the other side, evening it out.
Yeah, and this is the kind of overlap in cards that we're expecting when we see a mirror match of mono water decks. Questing Beast is definitely one of the things you put first in your deck if you know you can afford it, because that card is great.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, I think the most impactful one is actually the Master Stowworm. Because especially here, 6 mana for 7 minion is so huge, and the ability is insane, and it's not even restricted to the waterbound. But actually, I see it. Adrian is playing it, but Lars is not. So he opted more for the Undines. Oh, talking about Undine, there it is.
Yeah, and I think we saw a Undertow bringing the turtle up, and I think the turtle went to attack the troll bridge actually. So obviously the troll bridge would have triggered, the turtle would have been able to take the strike. I didn't see any card being discarded, so I think that's what happened. The questing beast could have blocked, but I think if you're Adrian, knowing that there's a mesmerism, you probably don't want your questing beast to be nearby the Seer here. So a bit of additional information, meaning that we opt not to take the block.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like if you keep on thinking about mesmerizing, taking your big guy, and then you decide not to block, so the turtle could have been killed, you will have to deal with the mesmerism sooner or later. And so if yeah, otherwise it's difficult. Of course, you do not want to give up your own questing beasts. And now we have the Undine. I don't know how big it is actually.
It's really big, but
10.
there's
I count 10.
there's one minion that doesn't care about how big it is, and that's the Master Worm with its lethal damage. And it's really becoming a contest of who is going to bring the bigger minion here. Sizes keep getting bigger and bigger.
Is that an attack for 7?
It must be, right? So I think we're okay letting the strike happen in that case, because that's not going to kill the questing beast. And so, yeah, I think Adrian is now down to 6. So it's getting dicey.
Ooh.
And a land deed. That's interesting.
Landed,
Land deed,
control, steal your opponent's sites.
one
That's
of my
always
favorite
annoying.
cards. Yeah. Not that playable. I just love this kind of effects generally. So now assuming the land deed is being carried, which I assume it is, the troll bridge belongs to Lars. So a bit of resource denial, which is always helpful when you're looking to cast the big stuff at this stage of the game.
So I would say like Adrian is in trouble. Of course, he plays with two Riptides, and also with swap. So he could Riptide or swap his Mr. Storeworm, but even then the turtle would still survive.
Yeah, the turtle is not the fastest clock ever. I think if you have a way to get rid of the questing beast with your Storeworm, you might be okay. You could also tap with
Yeah.
the Waveshaper ability, right? So you have options to kind of give yourself a bit more breathing room.
But not to forget that Undyne is submerged, and so
Yeah,
he actually decides to run away.
that's true. That is really the big threat, looming and hiding.
And I guess
There it
this
is.
was an attack for 7.
Yes, a might as well be right. 7. Time to start turning the clock. Let's see if we have an answer for what's on board. We did decide to play a site, so it won't be a tap ability.
Yeah, I think at this point he would consider even just giving up the questing beast, because if he can get another attack in for 7, putting Lars to 4, or even then shooting the Undyne with lethal. So he has a little bit of control, but it's not there. It's not a full lockdown whatsoever. So he still needs more cards to be
Yeah.
safe.
Very surprised we're not tapping down a site here. There must be something that is coming. We're also flooding the wizard stand with the floodplain, so something that has to do with a big body of water.
Yeah, I was thinking, so I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threshold. Like even if he would have a core, that's not enough, because due to the land deed, he lost that site as well.
And so it was not captured on camera, but I can tell you what happened here because I see the life totals on the side. A font of life has been played, bringing Adrian, brace yourself, all the way back up to 19, just because
Whoa.
it is a massive body of water. So that's why he's willing
Oh,
to race. It's because he knew he could get back 13 life in just one card. So absolute game changer here.
but I
Must
think
say I did not consider that card.
no, because honestly, when I see Fond of Life, it's just a swap, right? I'm so used to it since swap exists.
Yeah.
So no, this is actually a real Fond of Life. But so
Yeah.
the turtle did 2 damage, and I
Yes.
think the another 5 from the questing beast, because he's like, hey, I really don't want to get hit by that Undyne, and we'll now see if it will sacrifice itself. And
I
yes.
think we attempted to attack, and the questing beast immediately went, no, no, no. I have been letting the turtle and the questing beast hit me because I know I need to defend that undying attack. And now, finally, the mesmerism comes down. We're saying, look, I need to put the foot on the gas pedal here. I need to reverse the tide, pun intended, and the mesmerism is going to help me do that.
And often it's not that relevant, the questing beast having lethal damage. But so, yeah, it happens like here, like a huge minion, the Undyne, and it just trades for it. Mesmerism is now finally played. And he's like, okay, you can take 13 lives, but if you have now a Mr. Storeworm, a questing beast, and a turtle, and that 13 life is not allowing for this world, because that is 12, that's 14 damage back at you.
Yeah, it's one turn. It's a fog for one turn here. We're going to use the Waveshaper ability to tap our own minion. That's always painful.
But that is not
Obviously,
possible because it's a submerged. It has submerged, so it doesn't work.
That's a good point. I don't know if the players realize that. Let's see if it will come up.
Because otherwise there is really no reason to flood the rivers. So let's see.
Well, it looks like it is going to be played as is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're immediately carrying on. So I think both players believe that the storm is being impacted by the tap ability. And the turtle is going to get to attack the wizard's den, and it will be a successful attack. So Adrian gets to, or has to, discard a card. And we're now back to 10. Questing Beast is going to offer the trade. And what's the move now? Yeah, we have not done anything with our avatar. More frogs seems to be the answer.
When in doubt, get more frogs. Or pirate ships.
And pirate ship of our own.
Ooh.
Wow, yeah. I was gonna say, does he have the mana for all that? But yeah, the abundance is still here. So, I believe that's 11 mana, which is perfect. Perfect mana. That's exactly what he has to play with.
Yeah, so apparently there were some updates to the deck because actually it is not in the deck list anymore. So I did copy the deck, but apparently after it, they changed it. So the Great Drowning of Men, 7 mana aura. If it comes back to you, you just basically destroy all the sites. In this case, 3 sites. And then there's also still that land deed, so potentially you can disrupt 4 mana or sites of your opponents.
Yeah. You do get to submerge things that were on those sites, but the storm won't care.
No.
It is really about the resource denial here.
But we have a self-same simulacrum becoming a other Mrs. Storeworm.
Yep. So keep racing towards big minions here.
Yeah.
For pretty cheap, right? So 4 mana, a store worm, that's a pretty good rate. And
Oh, yes.
foil rubble. We came prepared.
I guess those are from the dust store, I think.
I believe so.
Oh.
And I think they are signed. If I look at the one on 8, it looks to be signed by Jeff Mangus. So we came really prepared.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Jeff Mangus.
the real Mrs. Storeworm untapped. So that's already something.
Yes. Oh, unless. No, I think it is tapped.
No, so he used the manuscript on the Mrs.
Oh, that's
Storeworm.
right, of course.
Tapping, getting damage. If there's something good, Mrs. Storeworm can also just take a lot of damage. And he's like, yeah, if I have to come back up and then I have to attack into you, that takes me too long. Let me just use it as a card draw engine.
Yeah.
And we actually saw it. I mean, I saw it.
Yes.
The Mega Mooba.
Yeah, we did. It's immediately going to come down weirdly on the corner. So we're okay to let the Mega Amoeba do its thing for 3, 4, 5 turn and grow and then get into the action. Unless there's the Ruler of Thule in hand that we haven't seen.
I just want to see the seven league boots. I've never seen that in action. That would be so funny.
And I think the turtle didn't attack on the floodplain for another 2, so we should be down to 8 now. Trying to chip away at the life total. I mean, I've got to say, if another Font of Life comes down, we could be in for a long game still.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a bit surprised that the Mrs. Storeworm is there just to draw a card. I mean, he could just have walked to 7, I guess, and start dealing damage.
Yeah, so he would take an extra turn, right? Because he would be submerged, but the turn after.
Yeah. But of course, if you think like, hey, Adrian can just tap it with his ability, then perhaps he's like, hey, let me just draw an extra card. I will just outrun and outvalue you over time. That you just cannot follow. So I guess that is the line of thoughts there. And look what happened. I mean, now there's a Mega Mooba on the board.
Yeah, curious to see what this blob is gonna do.
Well, all good things takes time, Jeffrey. So it's like they're in the corner, protected by 3 frogs, and it will just like, let's see, in like 6 turns, it will be awesome.
We're counting sites again.
Wait, what just happened?
I think we are still counting what we can do. If we're Adrian here, and I think we maybe have now realized the submerged text.
Yeah, so he removed the pirate ship because that self-same simulacrum message steer worm actually shot a lethal bolt to kill it.
That would have damaged the Seer as well, right? Assuming it went.
That is correct. So Seer goes to 10 life. Of course, it's an extra challenge for the Mega Mooba, having a message store worm spitting some acid around.
It's not easy. Well, the thing is, if you have the 7 league boots, like, you know, it's a one-shot Mega Amoeba here, right? You can just go all the way and hit for enough.
Do you then strike the avatar, or do you...
Ooh, we see the Ruler of Thule in the Seer's hand here.
That's amazing.
Is that actually enough? Okay, Storm is going to do what you wanted. Just go under 7. We're going to see an attack with the turtle, which I think is going to bring Adrian down to 6. Notably, the attack happens before we play Ruler, so maybe we are not fully set on the Ruler play yet. Mega Amoeba, yeah. I assume Ruler doesn't come down because Mega Amoeba takes a step up on 15.
And you're sure that you saw the Ruler? Because then also I would bring up the frogs actually from 20, like...
I think we just saw it again here. I think it's the right-hand card.
Because those 3 frogs, if you bring them up, then at least they can also attack for 1 each. So there will also be a 3 extra damage.
I wonder if we want to keep it for the death door. I know Mono Water can have issues closing the game on death door. So maybe we're like, hey, I'm in control enough. Maybe I just don't need it yet. But I think a Ruler here would have been death door, right? Because Mega Amoeba gets to attack for 3. Ruler is another 3, that's 6. And then the turtle could have hit for another 1 on top. So
yeah, there's so much on the board, because even that 1 frog on 13, I mean, that could also just start sliding over to 8 and 3. Just having a frog under your opponent is an extra threat. But yeah, I think, I mean, I'm overwhelmed with everything that's ongoing. We have a Mr. Storeworm, a copy of Mr. Storeworm, that turtle that is still doing damage in the corner. And not to forget a Mega Amoeba together with Abundance. And yeah, wow, what a game.
Yeah, it's a very busy board right here.
And you also feel it, like the tempo, they're really thinking through all the different lines. But I guess to expect to see the Rule of Tool.
Well, they heard us. They're willing to clean up the board a little.
Yeah.
We're going to see a trade of the simulacrum with the minion it copied. And then a cat presents some blockers for that turtle.
Still not being able to kill it, but at least nullify the damage.
And is it the turn where Ruler comes down? I guess we might not have Death Door anymore, right? Even with a Ruler here.
With Mega Amoeba, I think we do, right? Because Mega Amoeba can also jump to 5.
Yeah, you're right.
And that is then a 3-powered Mega Amoeba, but with Ruler, it's a 4-powered, so I think... But no. We stick to the plan. Let's just keep it as big as possible. Love to see it.
And knowing the Trolls of the Realm, I wouldn't be surprised if there were some side quests throughout the tournament. Like, hey, if you get Mega Amoeba up to a 10, you get like a Alpha Pack or something.
Yeah. If you play a 60-card deck and win with a Mega Amoeba, you just probably win the whole thing, right? Or you ought to.
There's an artist proof of Mega Mooba waiting for you.
Hey, if that would be the case, I would also have 2 Mega Moobas and 2 self-same simulacrums in my deck. Thinking
Okay.
about Gothic, what do you put in your collection? A Mega Mooba.
Of course. And the Seer also took a step to the right, which is interesting. We might realize that the Seer is not going to do much, and in the world where Adrian, in the world where Adrian could turn the tide around, then maybe preparing the Seer in the corner would be helpful. But that's one way to get rid of Mega Mooba.
Okay, the Mega Mooba is under threat. The championship side quest is under threat. What do we do? Because honestly, so he brought the Landit with him because Mega Mooba with 7 League boots and with Landit, basically you steal
I
all your
see.
opponent's sides.
I don't know if that still works.
Oh,
I think the rules update from this summer clarified some of the artifacts or spells caring about a specific site or location for oversized units. So I don't know specifically for Mega Mooba. Mega Mooba has a very long FAQ, so maybe it is being covered there. But I know that for things like Mountain Giant, etc., I do believe it's been turned
okay.
off, and you have to actually pick a site.
If you haven't done so, definitely go to the Curiosa website and look up Mega Mooba and read the fuck because it's like the explanation of some rules is just like Mega Mooba is weird. And honestly, if you can combine Landit, I mean, they should make an errata specifically for Mega Mooba. Like, yes,
Yeah,
Mega Mooba can just steal all your lands with Landit if you're able to pull it off.
Mega Mooba gets to ignore the latest rules changes.
That would be a funny ruling, actually.
And we cast an Adept Illusionist on 18. Interesting placement. I think we realized that the ruler might need to come down to get the Waveshaper on this door, as opposed to like a post this door strategy. And so the placement on 18 still enables the illusionist to do some damage.
Okay, and time has been called, so they are already 45 minutes into the game. That means that they actually have three turns. So I think Adrian is the active player. It's his first turn. Then Lars will get his first turn, and then the final turn will be Adrian's, I think. So if Mega Mooba wants to have its impact on the game, his time is limited. But honestly, 3 turns, Lars, like Adrian is not on that door, so basically he cannot win anymore.
Yeah, and it's worth touching on the time rule, right? Because I believe, and you let me know because you played the tournament. I believe if one of the players on this door and the other one isn't, that's enough to call the winner, right?
That that
So
that is true.
yeah, okay. And so that ruler might need to come a bit earlier than we wanted to make sure that we actually get our opponents on this door.
And so here we see the Mr. Storm actually attacking the side because now he really wants to get that damage in also. Casting
Yes.
then a geyser just to draw a card. He's just looking for solutions to get that final damage in.
Yeah. And I think immediately we see Megamiba attacking. Ruler of Thule comes down, so that's going to
Ooh,
be Death's Door. So
that,
things have really sped up since the. Yeah, really sped up since the time has been called. Um, I
and
think the handshake means this was probably meant to be the last turn, and knowing that Adrian is now on this door and Lars isn't, is enough for them to realize who is going to be the winner of this game, purely because we went to time.
yeah, if when we see in a play network, Lars was indeed the winner. So getting Adrian to that door thanks to the rule of tool. I think he was saving it right for the ultimate blow, but now on time, of course, without and just for my comfort, I actually think the Mega Mooba did all the work and did all the final damage. Now
It is known.
it is noted. Anyway, Jeffrey, what a great game. What a nice opening from our Cornerstone in Leeuwarden, the Utden Troll Cup. I loved every second of it, actually.
Yeah, it was great. Very back and forth. Tons of things happening on the board. Not surprised that like two mid-range control decks went to time. That unfortunately can happen. But yeah, great plays from both players.
Yeah, when playing control decks, and especially when playing water, it always becomes complex, and time is a factor. It is a part of Sorcery. Anyway, without further ado, let's get ready for round number 2, where we have a battle mage ready for you that will fight it out with a Waveshaper. It's not the same Waveshaper, it's a different player with a different deck, so looking forward to that one as well. Thanks, Jeffrey. See you in round 2.